Navigating the journey of intimacy while living with post-traumatic stress disorder is an intricate experience. PTSD often touches the most personal dimensions of human connection, sometimes leaving individuals and their partners feeling lost, uncertain, or alone. Yet, there are practical, empowering ways to foster safety, trust, and fulfillment in relationships. Understanding the complex interplay between PTSD and intimacy is the first step toward healing and connection. For many, intimacy represents more than romance or physical closeness. It encompasses emotional safety, mutual vulnerability, and the freedom to be authentically seen and understood. PTSD, as a response to one or multiple traumatic events, alters how a person perceives safety, trust, and connection. The symptoms of PTSD, intrusive memories, hyperarousal, avoidance, negative shifts in thinking and mood, can disrupt the very core of intimate relationships, sometimes creating barriers that seem insurmountable. The experience of PTSD in a relationship often begins with the ripple effects of trauma itself. Traumatic memories may intrude unexpectedly, triggered by sensory cues, sounds, smells, or simple gestures that bear no detectable threat yet evoke anxiety, panic, or dissociation. When these responses surface in moments of closeness, both partners may misinterpret them. The partner living with PTSD may withdraw, emotionally or physically, to reclaim a sense of safety. Their loved one, meanwhile, may grapple with confusion or even self-doubt, misreading withdrawal as rejection or lack of affection. Understanding these foundational dynamics is vital for both individuals living with PTSD and their partners. Compassion, for oneself and for each other, lays the groundwork for healing. It is essential to recognize that the responses rooted in trauma are not intentional rejections or relationship failures, but understandable protective mechanisms shaped by past experiences. This perspective invites patience and curiosity, not blame. Creating a foundation of emotional safety is the cornerstone of any attempt to nurture intimacy amid PTSD. Often, the first practical step is open, honest communication about individual experiences, triggers, and needs. This dialogue should occur in moments of relative calm, not in the heat of emotional upheaval. Sharing. Certain situations remind me of my trauma and make me feel unsafe. When that happens, I might need space or reassurance, allows the partner to understand and respond supportively. Establishing clear, consistent boundaries is another essential strategy. Boundaries are not barriers, but signals of respect and care. These may include agreements about touch, communication frequency, or strategies to pause and regroup during triggering moments. Both partners should feel empowered to voice their boundaries, knowing they will be honored. Triggers, those sensory cues or situations that reignite traumatic memories, are an unavoidable reality when PTSD is present. Identifying and mapping these triggers together, perhaps even creating a list, can demystify their impact. When a trigger is encountered, it is not a sign of failure, but an opportunity to practice self-soothing and mutual support. Partners can develop a shared safety plan for these moments, which might include grounding exercises, a designated safe word, or timeouts to process feelings calmly. Attachment styles and past experiences influence how intimacy unfolds. Individuals with PTSD may gravitate toward withdrawing or clinging in the wake of distress. Recognizing one's attachment pattern and understanding a partner's style can illuminate recurring relational challenges. For instance, if one partner tends to withdraw emotionally when triggered, and the other seeks closeness for reassurance, cycles of misunderstanding may emerge. Speaking openly about these patterns, with the help of a therapist if needed, brings awareness and intentionality. Physical intimacy encompassing both sexuality and non-sexual touch can pose particular challenges. Survivors of trauma may associate touch with danger or powerlessness, making physical closeness fraught rather than nurturing. Restoring safety often begins far from the bedroom, in daily gestures of affection, in consistent words of affirmation, and in the careful rebuilding of trust. Sometimes, a period of touch fasting, Agreeing to abstain from certain kinds of physical contact can relieve pressure and create space to reestablish positive associations with touch. When both partners are ready to revisit physical intimacy, pacing is essential. Consent must be an ongoing, mutual process, not a single moment. Check-ins during moments of closeness, simply asking, "Is this still okay?" help reinforce a sense of agency for the partner with PTSD. Communicating preferences, boundaries, and changes of heart in the moment is not only acceptable, but encouraged. Because PTSD is both psychological and physiological, grounding techniques are invaluable. When overwhelming feelings or dissociation arise, sensory grounding can gently anchor both partners in the present. Tactics such as holding a cold object, feeling the texture of a blanket, or focusing attention on the breath can interrupt panic and restore peace. Practicing these skills together transforms them from solitary coping tools into shared rituals. Trust grows through reliability and predictability. When a partner with PTSD sees their needs respected, when boundaries are honored and support is consistent, trust, once eroded by trauma, can slowly flourish. Small gestures, like keeping promises or following through on plans, are far more significant than grand declarations. Predictable routines, whether a nightly check-in or shared weekly activities, provide stability amid internal chaos. Seeking professional support is a wise and often necessary step. Trauma-informed therapists understand the unique challenges of PTSD in relationships and can teach strategies for emotional regulation, communication, and conflict resolution. Couples therapy, particularly when trauma is woven deeply into the relationship's fabric, offers a safe environment to practice new skills and navigate painful emotions. For the partner of someone with PTSD, individual therapy creates space to process their own frustrations, fears, or feelings of helplessness. Self-care is non-negotiable for both partners. Living with PTSD can be exhausting, especially when emotional bandwidth is spent monitoring one's own responses and striving to prevent pain for a loved one. Making space for restorative activities, be it time in nature, creative pursuits, or relaxation techniques, nourishes resilience. Couples may also benefit from carving out PTSD-free zones, designated times where the relationship is intentionally focused on positive, shared experiences rather than processing trauma. Building a language of appreciation matters deeply. Trauma often leaves individuals feeling damaged or too much. Expressing genuine admiration for a partner's courage, growth, and strengths can counteract the negative self-concepts that trauma instills. Regularly articulating gratitude for patience, effort, and loving presence on both sides can reinvigorate hope and mutual affection, softening the edges of conflict or frustration. Managing crises is a vital, though often daunting, aspect of relationships affected by PTSD. There will be moments when emotions run high, when one partner becomes overwhelmed or even experiences a flashback. Having a plan in place, a list of emergency contacts, agreed-upon de-escalation strategies, or even a pre-written letter to refer to, can empower both individuals to respond constructively. It's vital in these moments to avoid blame, to recognize that symptoms are not choices, and to practice compassion above all. Forgiveness and repair are ongoing processes. Every relationship endures setbacks, misunderstandings, and hurts, particularly when PTSD shapes reactions and behavior. Repairing ruptures involves acknowledging harm, offering apologies, and recommitting to shared goals. It is a cyclical process, not a linear one. Over time, these acts of repair build resilience and deepen intimacy, proving that connection can withstand, even grow through adversity. Community and social support often play overlooked yet powerful roles. Isolation, common among both those living with PTSD and their partners, can intensify distress and erode relationship health. Engaging with peer support groups, educational workshops, or trusted circles reduces isolation and normalizes the challenges faced. Shared community experiences underscore that healing, though personal, is never solitary. Understanding the impact of trauma on the body is also critical. PTSD does not reside solely in the mind. It imprints itself on the nervous system. Trauma-informed mindfulness practices, gentle yoga, body scans, or mindful walking may help individuals reconnect with their bodies in non-threatening ways. Partners can join these exercises, creating an environment where bodily autonomy is respected and nurtured. Above all, hope is essential. Intimacy in the context of PTSD is not doomed to perpetual struggle or frustration. Although trauma may cast long shadows, with intention and support, couples can and do build relationships defined by mutual care, deeper understanding, and lasting joy. Each small act of courage, each honest conversation, and each moment of mutual growth contributes to a legacy of resilience. The journey does not require perfection. Progress in navigating PTSD and intimacy is not a straight line, but a series of steps, some forward, some back, taken together in the spirit of hope and healing. With patience, empathy, and practical strategies, it is possible to reclaim intimacy, rewrite expectations, and co-create a partnership that honors the dignity and humanity of both individuals. For anyone touched by PTSD, remember, healing is not just possible, it is inevitable when pursued with steadfastness, self-compassion, and the willingness to seek and accept support. Intimacy, far from being out of reach, can become a powerful force for recovery, growth, and shared fulfillment.